All right, we got lots to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about four things that you have to do before November 30th. You, your family, friends, make sure you share this video, or you're going to be losing lots of money this year, next year. So we're talking about Social Security, Medicare plans, Medicaid with the COLA. So we'll talk about that. We're also going to talk about the president's idea for a $2,000 stimulus. Information out there a lot of people aren't going over, whether that's even feasible. Should we wait for the checks? We'll talk about that. We'll talk about did Dr. Oz just claim that Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, is the most successful health insurance plan in world history. That's pretty much what he said. I've studied the health insurance plans of a bunch of other countries to see how we can improve ours. And if what he's saying is true, then we have the best system in the world, the Affordable Care Act. And so maybe not so much. All right. So this is also a live Q&A. I want to get into one thing. Someone was mentioning here that they had, there was a live Q&A, and I don't seem to have it here. It looks like I get a bunch of live Q&A and it passed up here. So let's see here. So the live Q&A says they have a son or a brother, younger brother, that's 50 years old. And okay, here it is, Capra Williams. We are desperate help with my twin brother. Autism, hard of hearing, has only ever worked 1 week in his life putting bingo cards together, and he couldn't handle that. We didn't get him on disability until about he was almost 50. Okay, and his father just passed away, and she wants to know what can be, what is out there in terms of Social Security and everything for her twin brother. Okay, so in order to get disability benefit, sounds like possibly already on disability, but probably on SSI. SSI is Supplemental Security Income, the welfare-based program Social Security administers. Doesn't come out of general, the general trust fund. So probably on SSI. You can get SSI, you have to be low income, low resources, and if you're under 65 years old, you have to be disabled. So it sounds as like he was determined to be disabled. You can also get SSI if you're 65 and older. Okay. So in order to get what's called DAC benefits, disabled adult child benefits, he would have to be determined to be disabled before the age of 22. So looks like maybe his father wasn't receiving benefits at that time, so it wasn't relevant. So they just filed for SSI, the Supplemental Security Income, but now it's relevant. So I would go through the process, and it's going to be a little tough. Well, it's all tough right now because there's no employees at Social Security and DDS, the Disability Determination Services. They're the ones that actually do the medical determination. Okay, but what you have to do is file for DAC benefits, DAC, Disabled Adult Child Benefits, on his father's record, and you can be what's called the representative payee. You're probably already the representative payee right now for his SSI benefits, so that's not a big deal. And they will, your doctors will have to prove that he became disabled before the age of 22 years old. If he's got autism and all that, you've got some type of proof. So that's what you need to do to go ahead and get benefits off his father's record. Okay. And then so he'll get 75% of his father's PIA, the primary insurance amount, which is the benefit amount at the full retirement age. So if you got any questions, you can go on to my website, mygovexpert.com. Let me pop it up right there. And this is a free website. Go in there. We do charge for one-on-one appointments if you want to talk to a former Social Security employee about whatever, but everything else is 100% free. So you go on there and click on the top, the Social Security, and click on disability, and then it'll tell you the eligibility, the application process, the appeals process, and all the rest of it, frequently asked questions. So, but get that started as soon as possible. Okay, I just wanted to, said she was desperate there, and so I wanted to make sure we answered her question at the top here. Okay, now let's get into everybody else, what you have to do before November 30th to make sure you, your family, your loved ones don't lose a lot of money. All right, so we'll start off with retirement. what a lot of people do is they confuse the annual earnings limit with the monthly earnings limit. And I've got a video question as well, and this is going to answer the one video question we have today. She was confused about that. Okay, so here's where the confusion is, and here's how a lot of people lose money this time of the year. So the annual earnings limit for this year is $23,400. And the video question person asked this question. I think her name is Wanda. Hey, Wanda, thank you for the question. $23,400. And she said she made over that. But she started receiving benefits at 62. So 23,400 is the only relevant number. $1,950 a month, not relevant whatsoever. But if you are going to file for benefits, a brand new claim, only for a brand new claim, there's a lot of people that say, well, because I already made over $23,400 this year, I can't start my benefits this month in November and get a November check and get a December check. I can't do that because I'm already over. No relevance whatsoever. So many people call Social Security about this time. I know I've done this a million times. When I worked at Social Security, doing the busy time of the year was the end of the year when people called up and they wanted to start their benefits in January. And the trick is, if you call before the end of November, here's where the deadline, November 30th is. If you call before the end of November and you schedule an appointment or you file online, whatever you do before the end of November, then you're protected for November. So let's say you call and you want to actually speak to an actual human being. You don't want to deal with AI or any of that other garbage. You want to speak to an actual human being. What you do is you call immediately before the end of November. And then if they say, okay, we don't have any staff in our office, so we'll have to schedule your appointment in January, February. Okay, that's fine-ish. If you want your money sooner, then, get it. But let's say they can't get to you until January, February. Doesn't matter. You called them in November. It's called protective filing. So as long as you call them by the end of the month, when you file your claim in January, for instance, you actually talk to a human being, you review your earnings record, and we'll talk about that in a second here. Then you say, the person says, okay, let's go ahead and start your benefits this month. And you go, no. Remember, I called you in November. They'll look at the VIP, the visitor intake process, the internal system, and they'll say, oh yeah, you called us in November. Okay, so we can start your benefits in November. Obviously, anytime you start your benefits early, every month you start benefits early, it's reduced a little bit. But if you wanted your benefits to start in November, you can start your benefits in November. A lot of people miss that, and they miss November, December checks, or even October or September checks. So let's reach out to those people that are thinking about retiring here at the beginning of the year and say, hey, are you sure you don't want to start it now? Because as long as you stay under the 1950, that's where that number comes in. That's where that number is right there. As long as if you make $1 billion up until October, Social Security doesn't care. They only care about when you start your benefits. And they will ask you, okay, you made $1 billion this year. Don't care. How much are you going to make this month in November? Are you going to make under $1,950? And yep, I've given up my $1 billion job. I'm going to earn under $1,950 this month and $1,950 next month. Okay, we'll start your benefits in November. And then next year, 2026, then you'll have to stay under the annual earnings limit. You can't go to this one again. So the video caller said, well, I made over the $1,950. Doesn't matter. $1,950 has no relevance to you. Next year, if you start your benefits this year, the $2,040 has no relevance to you. That's only the first time when you start benefits. So next year, you just have to stay under $24,480. Anything over that, Social Security will hold back $1 for every $2 you go over. Okay, let's talk about another thing that you have to do before November 30th. Is if you have a Medicare Advantage plan, your money's about to run out. So a lot of people, one of the reasons they get a Medicare Advantage plan is they don't have the budget for a Medicare supplement plan. They don't know they can sign up for a Medicare supplement plan. Those are the ones with no prior authorizations and no networks. But they don't come with like some of the extra perks like dental, vision, and hearing. So here's what you have to do before November 30th as soon as possible. If you have a Medicare Advantage plan, and one of the reasons you signed up for it is because of all the cool perks. I wouldn't recommend signing up for a plan because of the cool perks. It's supposed to take care of your health care. So focus on, how much does it cost for a hospital and stuff like that. But, all the extra perks are nice too. Those go away December 31st. They disappear. If you have $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 in your dental account or your vision account or your hearing account or whatever the case may be, all of that disappears December 31st. So it's important that you start doing stuff now. And what a lot of people do, a little trick they do, is if they go to the dentist and the dentist says, oh, okay, you need $4,000 of work, but you look at your Medicare Advantage dental plan and it says only $2,000. And you're like, okay, cool, no problem. End of the year. Doc, let's do the bottom half before December 31st. And then hopefully my plan for next year has that $2,000. You should know by now. My plan that I changed to, or I double checked, it does have $2,000 for next year too. So starting January 1st next year, I'll get that new $2,000 and let's do the top half next year. So that's a little trick. So that money disappears. And remember, this is not a gift. That money comes from you. All the $185 you pay every month, the FICA Medicare tax you paid for decades, general taxation, that's where that $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 dental benefit comes from. It comes from you. You already paid for it. So why donate it to a $1 billion health insurance company? I never understand why people do that. But anyway, they just don't know. So use it. Schedule your appointment and get it done. Okay. What else we got going there? What else do we need to focus on? The other thing we need to focus on is just reviewing your plan in and of itself, your Medicare Advantage plan. This is what a lot of people have. They lose money because they're in the wrong plan. They think, oh, I've got this plan and it's good. I like it. I've had it for a few years. No, you haven't had it for a few years. Medicare Advantage plans are only good for 12 months. Every single Medicare Advantage plan in the country terminates December 31st. Every single one of them. They renew with maybe the same name and all that kind of stuff, but the contract itself, the details, the engine of your Medicare plan, Medicare Advantage plan, is brand new starting January 1st. You might have the same car, the same doctor, the same company, zero premium, monthly payment, but a bunch of the other stuff, company can change whatever they want because that contract is only good for 12 months. And they all terminate December 31st at midnight, like Cinderella. And I don't know how much she terminated, but anyway, a brand new one starts the next day. And if you don't do anything, then you just take whatever the insurance company decides to switch next year. So it happens all the time. People say they go get an X-ray or an MRI or some prescription or something like that, and it says, hey, how come it cost me this much more? This, I signed up for this plan last year and it only cost $10 last year. How come it cost $100? Because that plan is gone. It terminated December 31st, and now you have a new plan, and because you didn't review it, now you're going to have to pay a whole bunch more money. So reach out to anybody, your Medicare insurance broker, anybody that you know that you trust. You can reach out to Chapter. Always be prepared. Have your current plan available so they can compare what is in your current plan versus what's available next year. Have your providers, what physicians you got to go to next year that has to be covered. Your prescriptions, make sure you have, your milligrams, whether it's extended release. You want to save as much money on prescriptions. That's usually where people spend tons of money on prescriptions. So we want to make sure that you get the best cost possible. Your pharmacy, if you want, or if you got priorities, the dental, vision, and then prices for all the other stuff, MRIs and CT scans and specialists and all that other kind of stuff. So, and then stay persistent. And this is one of the other things that we want to focus on in 2026 is be persistent by fighting. Like the person I just talked to about the DAC benefits, the disabled adult child benefits. That one's going to be a tough one. And someone corrected my idiom that I used, the long road to hoe. And I said it's a long road to haul. And someone in the comments, 2 or 3 people actually came in the comments and said, Ed, it's not a long road to haul, it's a long road to hoe. I came from a truck driver family. I know all the words of convoy. Yeah, my dad used to say long road to haul, so I used that one. So I guess it's a truck driver version of the old. Yeah. Anyway, so there's that. But everybody's going to be having problems going further, going forward in terms of fighting Social Security because they just don't have the staff there. You're not fighting Social Security. The employees are, they're battling this system too. It's the politicians who are just trying to destroy Social Security that's making it tough for everybody, including Medicaid, food stamps, everything. So you have to be persistent and you have to fight. The fourth thing is those people on Medicaid or SNAP. Because there's a 2.8% COLA, when that kicks in, some people that are receiving SSI, it'll be kicking in at the end of this year. Everybody else, it kicks in the new year. The 2.8%, it's going to kick some people off of Medicaid because it happens every single year. It happened a lot a few years ago when we got the 8.7% COLA increase. But 2.8%, it's still going to kick some people off of Medicaid SSI because you're going to get an increase in your Social Security check or your SSI or whatever the case may be. And you might have been, $2 under the income thresholds in your particular state, but now you're over. So you just might be kicked off of Medicaid. So it's very important that you start checking into that. We've set up a discussion group, a website with multiple discussion groups. Let me go ahead and pull it up here. It's 24help.org, and we just redesigned it to make it a lot easier for everybody. Still tweaking it a little bit, but if you need help on Medicaid, you can join the Medicaid discussion group. If you need help with Social Security, retirement benefits, divorce, spouse, survivor benefits. So just join. It's a 100% free website. So we need to crowdsource this. We need neighbors to help neighbors with Medicaid, food stamps, affordable housing, internet, energy assistance, Medicare, Social Security disability, CDRs. I think the CDR one's going to be a very popular discussion group, continuing disability reviews. So this is completely your website, so you can get in there, and if you're having problems, get in there, join the discussion group, add a discussion, and everybody else is going to get in there and see if they can help you out, answer your questions. And if we need to add any other discussion groups, we'd be more than happy to do that. But if you're receiving Medicaid, any type of welfare, any type of income-related benefit, so that is Section 8 housing, which lost 43% of their budget. It's going to be hurting going forward. But Medicaid lost $1 trillion. Hundreds of billions out of food stamps, and we know what happened with that. The Affordable Care Act, well, according to Dr. Oz, it's the most successful program in American history, but we'll talk about that. Okay, what else do we need to do? Not by November 30th, but very close in the new year, you have to check your SEQI. What is that? When you pay your Social Security FICA tax, that money goes to Social Security. And Social Security, you want to make sure Social Security has the correct numbers. What we see happening quite often is that somewhere along the line, somebody types your Social Security number in wrong, your accountant, the IRS, Social Security, whatever the case may be, and your earnings don't get to Social Security. That's why it's important to check your earnings record to what's actually paid into Social Security, okay? Because that's how they determine how much you're going to make for the rest of your life, is based on what you actually paid into Social Security. So that's super, super important. Okay, what else do we got here for the new year? IRMA letters, income-related monthly adjustment amount. I know it's a mouthful, but a lot of people are going to get these IRMA letters, and those are extra premiums that people, high-income earners, pay for their Medicare Part B and Medicare Part D, the prescription drug plan. And if you get that IRMA letter, a lot of people are going to get those IRMA letters pretty soon, that, your monthly Medicare Part B is not going to be $185. It's going to be $400 or $500, right? Fight. If you have what's called a life-changing event, That is, you lost that job, you retired, you reduced your earnings, you got divorced, you lost that income and producing property or whatever the case may be. You have to fight it, and you can by an SSA 44. So once people start getting more and more of those, I'll do another video. I've done a few videos on those IRMAs and how to fight it, but it's good to do a new one every now and then. Okay, so those are all the things that we need to do to make sure, again, so if this doesn't apply to you, I know there's people around you that it does apply to, so please make sure you reach out to them. And in terms of Veterans Day, hello everybody, happy Veterans Day. I'm an old Marine Corps sergeant here. Yesterday was also the Marine Corps birthday, hoorah, 250 years. I don't look a day over 112, I know. But so I did a video yesterday on veterans benefits, Social Security, Medicare, whether they should sign up for Part B and everything like that. So if you're a veteran out there, make sure you watch my video yesterday, share with all of your veterans there. And let's make sure a lot of people, too many people out there are struggling, and we have the best community on the internet, on social media. We help out other people. Okay, let's talk about the president's proposal statement that he is going to give a $2,000 stimulus package. And we've heard these before. We've heard about the Doge dividend, that all of the billions of dollars they're going to save, Doge is going to save, that they're going to give that back to the American people, $5,000 or whatever, and obviously didn't happen. Didn't happen. For Social Security, they found Elon Musk finally went on record and said all the stuff about people over 120 years old receiving Social Security benefits. He finally admitted a couple of days ago that that wasn't true, but people are still believing it. So he didn't find any fraud, waste, and abuse of Social Security. Is there fraud, waste, and abuse of Social Security? Of course there is. People scam the disability system and SSI every single day. But you have to have employees there to find those people. So Social Security does a pretty awesome job in finding fraud, waste, and abuse, but they need employees to do it. Now less employees, and so more fraud, waste, and abuse is probably going to happen. So it's irony. Anyway, in terms of this 2,000, so you said trillions and trillions and trillions are coming into tariffs from other countries, and everybody knows what's wrong with that statement. It doesn't come from other countries. Who pays the tariffs? We pay the tariffs. The American business, it imports it from China or England or France or Japan or wherever the case may be, they have to pay a tariff, and they pass that cost down to us. We see inflation going up. We see the prices of everything in the supermarkets increasing, and that's tariffs. And everything on Amazon increasing, that's tariff. We are paying for the tariffs. So his argument is, okay, we're going to give you that money back that we took from you, and we're going to give you $2,000. And there was a analysis done by the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget, and they said, okay, he didn't say, because these tariffs are going to be charged to us, people who actually shop and buy stuff, the vast majority of people, we're paying these tariffs, and if we pay them every year, shouldn't we get that $2,000 back every year? Or you could just cut the tariff so we don't have to pay the tariff tax. Anyway. But so this particular Committee for Responsible Federal Budget says, hey, what if they do it every year? So let's throw that out for now. So for 2025, so far, tariff money coming in based on his tariffs that, go one day and off and on and off and off and on, about $100 billion. I've seen a little bit less, about $86 billion have come in. So there is let's be generous. $100 billion of our money is in that tariff pot, okay? And he wants to give $2,000 to pretty much everybody, except for high wage earners. So given kind of what was given during the pandemic, they estimate that that's about $600 billion. So we're about $500 billion short. So we need to start paying more into tariffs, more into this pot, so we can get that money back. I guess is if the $2,000 comes from tariff money, then they need to increase tariffs, so we have to pay more at the supermarket and more for stuff we need, so we can put more in that pot, so we can actually get the $2,000. So unless they decide to get that $2,000 out of some other place, but he said it's tariff money. So as any other type of stimulus thing. Been doing this for a few decades, and every time someone comes up with some type of idea for stimulus, then people start spending that money. They said, oh, the president said, this has been going on for decades. President said they're going to give us $500, $1,000, $2,000. Oh, so I guess I can take a little vacation and do this because I'm going to get a check here pretty soon. Happens every single time. It's crazy. And what's even worse is a lot of times it's tied to Social Security and your Social Security number and your Social Security benefits or whatever. And people start calling Social Security and asking them, well, the president said he's giving out $2,000. I haven't got my check yet. You know, why is my check this month only $1,800? I'm supposed to have another $2,000. The president said I'm going to get another $2,000. And that ruins it for everybody because, again, personal experience, been in a Social Security office where it's happened multiple times over the years. The Social Security employees have to pick up the phone or answer people that walk into the office and say, there is no stimulus. There is no stimulus. It might come in the future, but there is none now. There is none now. There is none now. And what happens is that takes away from those people who are very, very few anyway, from helping people like Capra Williams, who is going in there to see if she can help her twin brother with autism file for disability benefits. So maybe she'll be able to go in there and she'll only have to wait, you know, a few weeks or whatever to get an appointment. But because the Social Security employees are having to answer these stupid stimulus questions, it might take her months to get in there. And so it ruins it for everybody. So until you see that in your bank account, because the president can't unilaterally give out a stimulus check. It has to go through Congress. And the fiscal hawks in Congress, you know, this has caused more of a debt because there is not enough tariff money. There's about $500 billion short. So they're going to say, okay, where are we going to $500 billion? We're maybe cut Medicaid and the Affordable Care Act or whatever the case may be. So until you get it, you ain't got it. Super long story short. Okay, what else do we have here? We also have some crazy information by Dr. Oz. And it seems like he's specializing in that recently. But let's listen to a little bit of him on Fox News here, and then we'll talk about it.
Are now promising a December vote on extending enhanced Obamacare subsidies, which have been the Democrats' main sticking point in this record-long standoff, 41 days.
So wait a second. I thought the issue the Democrats were stuck on was giving benefits to illegals. Oh, guess what? That wasn't it. It was about the Affordable Care Act subsidies and also about trying to roll back some of the Medicaid cuts, where there's $1 trillion taken out of Medicaid. So everybody that's receiving Medicaid is going to be affected one way or the other, and everybody across the board, because prices are going to go up. People are, you know, even though they don't have Medicaid or the Affordable Care Act, they're going to lose that. That doesn't prevent sickness or injury. They're still going to get sick and get injured, and they're just going to go to the emergency room and then file for bankruptcy, or not pay at all and then file for bankruptcy. And that's going to cost everybody else because the hospitals have to recoup that money. And if they can't, because those people are uninsured, then they just raise the prices on everybody else. So it's the craziest solution. But anyway.
Enrollment is currently underway. Americans have until December 15th to enroll for health coverage beginning New Year's Day. Joining me now is Medicare and Medicaid Services Administrator, Dr. Mehmet Oz.
We brought up this issue of a potential vote on the ACA. This whole debate for Republicans is about fraud, waste, and abuse.
Those are my regular viewers know where I'm going here. So there's 5 words that politicians now use to pull the wool over our eyes and give them carte blanche to do anything they want. Fraud, waste, and abuse, illegal aliens. So if they use any combination of those 5 words, then they believe they can do anything they want, even though there's no proof there. Is there fraud, waste, and abuse in government programs? Of course there is. But yeah, they use it as there's fraud, waste, and abuse in every program out there. People, speed on the highways. People don't pay their taxes. So anyway. Yeah.
In COVID, there were these enhanced, very generous subsidies given because it was an emergency to Americans who are in that category of 1 to 400% of the poverty level. They even gave it to folks who were making more than 4 times the poverty level because they wanted to be generous. It was COVID. It was a pandemic. The pandemic's over. We're not at war with the virus anymore. So Republicans.
And I guess we're not getting sick anymore. So people, those 20 million people don't need health insurance anymore because COVID's over. Okay. Or they don't care if, their premiums jump by 300%, $700, $800, $900 a month. Well, Dr. Oz disagrees with that. He believes Obamacare is the best healthcare system in the world. We'll see that here in a second.
Arguing all the shortcuts that were created over the last several years that led to fraud, waste, and abuse at massive numbers need to be reformed. And I'll give you just two numbers that listeners ought to be aware of. Half the 24 million people on Obamacare don't use the insurance. Now, if you buy insurance with your hard-earned dollars, you're going to probably use it for a prescription, a doctor's visit, no use. We believe half of those people, 6 million, literally don't know they have insurance, don't care that they have insurance. They're phantom enrollees. So that means the taxpayer is paying for insurance on.
Okay. I don't think he understands how insurance works. Yeah. So what, 99% of people that pay auto insurance don't use their auto insurance. And I hope I've been paying auto insurance since I was, 16 years old. And I hope I never have to use my auto insurance. That's kind of the nature of auto insurance. I've been paying life insurance anyway. And I haven't used that at all. I'm not sure why I haven't used my life insurance. But there is one thing in there. I mean, obviously, that's the major factor is people, but there is an issue in there, and that's one of the reasons my son and I decided to, reach out to a company like Chapter and have them help, because there are a lot of shady Medicare insurance agents, Affordable Care Act insurance agents, and he is correct. He probably doesn't know why, but what happened over the last few years, I'm sure some out there were victims. There were some shady Affordable Care Act insurance agents that were switching people's plans unbeknownst to them, or quite often what they would do is they would just change your address or update your address. Instead of putting like street, ST, they would put STREET on your Affordable Care Act, in the marketplace there. And you still have the same plan, but that was considered an enrollment because you switched brokers. And what happened is, anytime a broker, an agent went in there and changed something in the Affordable Care Act, they became the agent of record. So that means they started getting the commissions. So there's a lot of nasty insurance agents out there that did that. But Medicare has since, this happened last year, the beginning of last year, the insurance companies and Medicare, who also administers the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services, also do the Affordable Care Act. They clamped down on those Medicare insurance agents, and a lot of them lost their ability to do their job anymore because they lost the companies, kicked them out. So, which is a beautiful, beautiful thing. So that was addressed. So that's one of the reasons a lot of people, it seems like more people enrolled. He didn't say enrolled, he said enrollments. So there was, one person could be in an enrollment 3 times a year because they were switched. So that was 3 enrollments. It's the same enrollee, but so it's a kind of a difficult thing, a manipulated thing that these insurance agents did. And my son and I saw that, and these guys are nasty. And so that's why we decided to reach out to Chapter and other places to try to, find some reputable people out there. Too many people are getting scammed, but that's the nature of that. So Dr. Oz doesn't understand that.
Paying for you to have an Obamacare policy. Full freight. The insurance companies are happy with that. No one seems to mind, except, of course, the taxpayers who have to foot the bill twice. So these are the kinds of things you've got to clean up in order to get the ACA into a different place for next year. But meanwhile,
okay, so it's already cleaned up. That was addressed last year. He's just using old numbers.
Progressing, no hitches at all. Folks are signing up. Most people have very generous policies.
Yeah, so here it is. Dr. Oz is on record saying the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, is the best system ever invented.
Hitches at all. Folks are signing up.
Yep.
Most people have very generous policies.
Yep.
And here's
Awesome.
the basic number. The average person on Obamacare pays $50 a month for their insurance now. It used to be $37. this year, which means you're paying $13 more next year than this year. And that's the reason we shut the government down for 6 weeks.
Okay, so according to him, it's running perfectly. People are signing up. There's no issues. There's no bugs. And, you know, when Obamacare first started out, the Affordable Care Act, marketplace insurance, it's all the same thing. When it first started out, they were having computer issues, but those are all 100% solved. People pay an average of $50, so that is the best insurance. So I think everybody should go ahead and get rid of their employer health insurance that they're paying hundreds of dollars, including myself, and get into the Affordable Care Act, because it's only average about $50 a month, and it's awesome, and people have very generous plans, according to Dr. Oz. I don't think, I don't think, I don't think those numbers are accurate. Dr. Oz giving incorrect numbers. Go figure. Who would have thunk it? Anyway, and then let's see here. Let's get into some questions here. I think I've got one little interesting little tidbit of Dr. Oz. Let's check out this last one.
Vulnerable. I am laser focused, and I'm a heart surgeon. So, you know, my day job is taking care of people who are struggling with health issues. I want to make sure they have coverage. But if you dilute the coverage.
So he is a heart surgeon. And so his number one focus is on getting people health care that it's not $50 a month on average. It's people are getting charged, the Affordable Care Act, hundreds of dollars more for 2026. So there's estimates about 20 million people are going to lose health coverage. Medicaid going forward, people are going to lose that, $1 trillion out of that. You're going to, so I don't think he's taking care of health insurance like he thinks he is. And one little final clip, and then we'll get into the questions.
How you want to see this play out once these subsidies do expire this year?
And their plan, when, again, this is going back to 2010 to try to get rid of the Affordable Care Act. And we have a plan, a big, beautiful plan, concepts of a plan. We have a plan. It'll be out in 2 weeks. And here we are, Veterans Day, November 2025. And the plan is...
You always ask the right questions, Maria. So I spent a good part of the weekend with the White House working on exactly the answer to that question. We have lots of great ideas, but I don't want to show our cards. As the president often says, why would I telegraph to you what we're going to do? We have to have an open government. I need my top people around.
Okay, we have great ideas, and why should I telegraph you what we're going to do? Because this is our country. And this is our health care, and that's why you should tell us what you want to do. So they still have zero plan whatsoever. So I'm not sure what's going on there. Well, I know what's going on. Anyway. All right, let's get into some questions here. We can hang out because we socialize here every day. Yeah, a lot of people just joined to say hello to each other, and you guys are awesome. And say hello to each other and support each other, and make sure you answer any questions if people are having issues. Moral support is extremely important. So, Debbie, I wish the government would fund Medicare for all, and that would be totally comprehensive. Until then, at least we have chapter. I wish they hadn't let 7,000 Social Security employees go. Yeah, at the very least 7,000. And the problem is they pushed out the people that were kind of sort of close to retirement, because the person that we brought in to help people with one-on-one appointments, she's putting together a team of about 3 or 4 other people that can help you, navigate retirement benefits in terms of Social Security and survivor benefits and disability and CDRs and all that stuff. She's putting together a team like that. That's the only thing we do charge for. These are one-on-one appointments. But every one of those employees and everybody I know wanted to stay at Social Security for another 5 or 10 or 20 years. They love Social Security. I love Social Security, but it was, I left before all this craziness began for other reasons, because I wanted to do crazy things like this. But yeah, Medicare for all. Even the president, didn't he kind of say that, should get rid of give everybody their money and let them decide type thing? So. When Dr. Ed says you can email him, how do I find this? Yeah, if you're having, my son answers my emails because I get hundreds, and it's just basically a standard email that, the best way if you have a question is ask it here. The number one way is to go onto my website, mygovexpert.com, and then on the bottom left, let me pull it up here. On the bottom left, you'll see that question or comment, and you click on that, and you can record a video question of up to 2 minutes. And that's the best way. Those are 100% answered. So if you do one of those, I answer them within 24 hours, unless I have a guest speaker the next day, and then I'll answer it the next day. But if you are having a problem with any other company we recommend, like Chapter, if you can't get in, which they're crazy busy right now because they're very, very popular, people want them to be in their corner next year when they have if they have issues. But if they're not treating you right, if you're having a hard time getting a hold of them, email me, ed@mygovexpert.com. They're doing a phenomenal job. They're having a hard time keeping up. But we have until December 7th. You have until December 7th to review your plan. And your new plan won't begin until January 1st anyway. So, don't have this. Let's see. Find some other questions here. Silent guard. That's what they want you to think. They don't operate on a soil, as they don't get caught up operating a U.S. soil. Don't forget. Okay. We're talking about Guantanamo Bay, Cuba or something. Gwendolyn. What's up, Gwendolyn? I personally think some people higher up doesn't like that Dr. Ed shares the truth. Straight up, I sure do appreciate him and his help. Majority informative and on point always. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, a lot of people... yeah, don't like that I'm, and because I've got inside experience, a little bit more credibility, and so I know exactly how the sausage is made, and when they're incorrect, like Elon Musk, when he said all these, 12 million people over 120 years old is, it's fraud, waste, and they're getting all this money, I said, no, you're 100% incorrect, and he finally admitted it, finally. After months and months and months and months and months. All right, let's see what else we got here for actual questions. Is Ed even on tonight? He might have taken day off. I missed. Oh no, I'm here. Is everybody? Is it not broadcasting on Facebook for whatever reason, or on YouTube? So let me see what's going on here. Oh, might not have been on this one. All right, I'm going to restart here.